Playboi Carti's Opium label currently has 3 signees, but 2 of which I truly believe could both be stars in the coming years. This is a topic I'd love to discuss because I haven't really heard any conversations online about who will be bigger and who will grow a bigger fan base when it's all said and done. Now, you can make an argument that their fan bases are practically the same people, and yeah, that's true for right now, but I don't see that being the case in 3 years from now. Now, Playboi Carti also plays a big role in this because you have to know that he's more than likely going to favor the artist who brings in more attention to Opium than the other. And right now, I'd say that's Ken Carson. You hear him shouting out Opium from left to right, whether that's at the start of the song, beginning of the song, middle of the song, random ad-libs, he is shouting out Opium, and that's just even more looks for Playboi Carti because everyone knows he's signed to Playboi Carti's Opium label, which inadvertently is going to cause Playboi Carti to want to, give him more attention. But I think Ken Carson's sound is much harder for the average music listener to understand the appeal. They may like a few songs, but overall, he wouldn't be their favorite artist more than likely. Destroy Lonely, on the other hand, I think has that mainstream appeal that could make him even bigger than Ken Carson, but you don't hear him shouting out Opium like Ken Carson does. I will say you do see Destroy Lonely and Ken Carson together a lot of times. Most recently, there was a video posted to Icebox of them shopping at Icebox, looking for chains and bracelets, and just showing that they are truly good friends and want to hang out, or at least it appears that way. But I think they really are true good friends, just from the way that their music sounds and the way that they interact. It seems like they are truly good friends and enjoy each other's company. You can also look to Destroy Lonely as that person, a part of Opium, that his music is much easier to digest as an average music listener. His sound has a very fun way to it, but it can also be very dark at the same time. Here's what I think could happen in the next few years as Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely continue to grow and be a part of Opium. I think Ken Carson will grow a fan base that is still rather large, but much more diehard, and will always think his music is amazing. But Destroy Lonely will grow a fan base that is larger and reaches more people. However, they won't be as dedicated to the music like Ken Carson's fans, but it'll be such a large reach that it won't really matter. Because I think Destroy Lonely has that almost pop appeal, like a Lil Uzi Vert almost. But I'm not saying he sounds or is even anything like Lil Uzi Vert. I'm just saying in comparison, if we're comparing Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely, I would probably say Destroy Lonely is the Lil Uzi Vert and Ken Carson is the Playboi Carti. I only say that because the way the music hits your ear. You can love both artists, but we know that more people know Lil Uzi Vert than Playboi Carti. That doesn't mean that he still doesn't have a huge fan base, he does, but overall, Lil Uzi Vert is either just as big, at least, or bigger than Playboi Carti in as far as reach and audience and people who know who he is. Is that a good thing? I don't know. That's a topic for another video. That's not to say that people won't go harder for Carti than Uzi, but it does mean that Uzi has more reach in my opinion. That's what I mean by Ken Carson is Carti and Destroy Lonely is Uzi. I could be very wrong. I have no idea what Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely have in store for the next few years. For all I know, Ken Carson could completely change up his production style to be a bit more mainstream and become huge, even bigger than Destroy Lonely. Heck, even bigger than Playboi Carti maybe. But in my opinion, I just don't see that happening. I could see that happening with Destroy Lonely. I just see him having that appeal to the younger audience and even older audiences because he's got that mainstream appeal, just in my opinion. I just feel as though Destroy Lonely's music definitely feels more mainstream than Ken Carson's. That's not to take away from either artist. Both make fantastic music and I love both. However, I just see over the next few years, Destroy Lonely could be surpassing basically everyone he's in competition with right now. Even Yeet. Like, I could see him selling 100K in like 2 to 3 years with like a No Stylist 2 or just a random new album. You know what I mean? I could really see that from Destroy Lonely. I don't know if I could see that from Ken Carson. I hope he does. I really do hope to see Ken Carson become just as big as I think Destroy Lonely will. That would be insane for all of Opium and insane for Playboi Carti. Imagine the hype a new Playboi Carti album would have in like 3 years if Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely both had like top 50 Billboard hits, like hit singles. That would be insane. But we'll see where Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely are at when the time comes. Obviously, that's a few years away, and we'll see. I'm excited to see how their careers go and see who's the more successful one. I think they're both already wildly successful. More successful than I probably ever will be. But I just want to see how their music careers turn out. If either one of them can end up being like Playboi Carti and end up influencing the underground, you know? Like, imagine if Playboi Carti is so influential to Destroy Lonely and Ken Carson. Destroy Lonely makes an album that influences the underground that he pretty much influenced. That, like, you know what I mean? Playboi Carti influenced the current underground, and say 2-3 years Destroy Lonely gets as big as Playboi Carti or Ken Carson, and they're influencing the underground that they once were. And I guess that's how music just goes. I mean, I'm just kind of rambling now, but yeah, that would be crazy to see. I'm excited to see where Opium is headed. I think Playboi Carti is doing all the right moves, and I'm excited, man. I can't wait to hear new music from either Playboi Carti, Opium. I didn't even mention Homicide Gang. I loved their album. I just don't think that they have the potential. I think they're always going to be like an underground grunge type of thing, but I think they'll have their fans. I think Carti just more signed them just because he's like, he really messes with their style. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling on. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, this is going to be probably one of my longest videos. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Peace.